have all been introduced to the innovation loop here in Lycksele and Meeting Place Lycksele. What do you think of it?
About the very important things about to changement and innovate is actually to find out a way to include other mind, other vision in your own little vision, usually, you know. So for this reason, it's very, very important to move from your position and meet other point of view, other experience, other not really value, because I think that at the the ground we have the same value, you know, that is to take care of people, you know, to take care and to be people that are taken care, you know.
To make life better.
Yes, to make life. So, but it's really very important to have some companies in this process, because 4 years are a long time, and a lot of things are going to change during these 4 years. So it's nice to change together with other countries, with other experience, because it is very important.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that is a very good point, to also let the project change. I mean, you have very strict rules, you have your deliverables, you have your time schedules, but we should be able, if a really good thing comes up, we should be able to sort of grab onto that and do something about it.
Are you allowed to? This is EU money. I mean,
I guess we are allowed to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I hope it's how we frame it.
What do you think of the innovation loop?
I like the scale. As you notice, when I talk, we have processes that really go fast forward to a prototype and to businesses, like the lighting that is now a business of 4 people. But what I like in this is the scale wherein you involve the communities. And I think we can learn for that for our rural areas, that perhaps, not at the large scale of Vesterbotten, because then we have half of the Netherlands, but in our rural areas that you do this kind of things with several small villages together, because they can learn also a lot from each other and have the same problems, and so that I liked. But when I ask, there were winners last year, what happened to them? What's the result after a year? Have they developed a business? Have they developed a business case? Then I didn't get an answer. So I think that a little bit of criticism, that you should go back next year. You have winners, they are excellent, but present next year also, and what happened thereafter.
Yeah.
Because that's the result that you want to achieve, I think.
You agree? Yeah.
Yeah, what I like really about the innovation loop is that it truly aims at engaging people, and that is really the strength. We work also with something that we call user-centered design for digital products and services, and that's, in short, that's engaging the end user from the very start of any project. And I think the innovation loop sort of has the same aim, and it's a wise one, I think, if you ask me.
So, Ben, you told a story. You gave Thomas Hartman a gift at dinner the day before yesterday. Could you explain to the audience what that was about?
Well, it's a little bit strange story, because nobody realized that Vesterbotten and Drente have a connection for 150,000 years.
150,000 years?
Yes.
Okay.
150,000 years ago, the Sala Ice Age started here in Vesterbotten. And the glacier grew and grew and grew and ended finally in Drente. And with the growing from the glacier, it took stones with him. And they ended in Drente. The glacier made a landscape that is now so beautiful that it has the cultural heritage from UNESCO. And Vesterbotten is responsible for that. And it's also responsible for something else. Because we find a lot of stones, but we don't know where the stones come from. But one stone we found, it was from Sorcerer. We can even pinpoint the mountain from Sorcerer, and we only know it since 2 years. I heard it from the vice director of the Megalithic Museum just a few weeks ago. And then I told him I want to bring one stone back so that Västerbotten realize that Västerbotten and Drente has a connection of 150,000 years.
We are so glad that we can have this connection today without the glacier.
Me too.
So finally, before we go to our coffee break, where I'm sure everyone is looking forward to, what is your best experience for these few days here? Starting with you, Yvonne.
Oh, there's been many good experiences. I think the weather has been absolutely gorgeous.
We are in shock, all of us.
Exactly, and thank you so much for the party last night, which was really, really fabulous. But of course, meeting other people, talking to my colleague Osiris, friends, and meeting people is, I think that's what meeting points are all about. And I enjoyed having lunch with Mr. Bard yesterday.
I bet, yeah. Ben?
Yeah, it's meeting the people, that's the most important thing. Having a little bit of a view on the innovation loop so that I can really feel in practice how it works. So that was well done. It was also really interesting to visit the hospital. Because there I saw connections between businesses in Drente and businesses here. And that's a little bit outside of the project, but it's my profession to look for connections for businesses and perhaps bring in contact to each other. So that was really interesting. I think some of the inventions here we can use in my province.
Great. And Francesca, what's your best experience?
Yes, a lot of different stimulation, but actually yesterday when I entered this room, I was very felice, happy to see all this, the feeling of community I found in this room yesterday, today too, but the idea that the people from the region gather and talk and very quiet, with very with their experience. I think this is really unusual, in a much more dense country like Italy is. Density is a little bit complicated. And so sometimes we miss very important things that I think here you have the opportunity to experiment better, and we can learn from this other way to do things. So this is very important. And then another very important thing that we were talking in advance is that anyway, there are a lot of women. It's a very multicultural environment with the different, different culture, male and female. This is very important for doing good things, to evaluate multiculturalism,
Yes.
even in this situation. This is one thing that I for sure I will be back. Will bring home. I will be home, and I hope to have the opportunity to have much more. To bring some people from my country here and see.
Please do, please do.
Yes.
So, well, thank you so much. We look forward to have you back and with other fellow countrymen and women, of course. So, well, let's enjoy the break, and the rest of you stay here, and we look forward to hear back from you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.